Up till now, we have discussed what is anion gap, how hydrogen accumulates in our body, what is the normal mechanism of hydrogen excretion or transport. Now, what is the pathophysiology behind all this procedure to taking place? We have pathophysiology of this. How does it happen? It's basically there is any kind of underlying disease, underlying disorder which lead to the accumulation of acid in our body. In that accumulation of acid, we have an important disease which is referred to as acute tubular necrosis. That is acute tubular acidosis, which we also called as ATA. That ATA is the major cause for acidosis. If, for example, there is lactic acidosis in our body, how lactic acidosis in our body occurs? When there is a tissue with low blood supply, with low blood perfusion, what happens in this tissue? Anaerobic respiratory mechanism activates. When anaerobic respiratory system activates, there is an increased production of lactic acid. When there is an increased production of lactic acid, that means there is increased hydrogen ion. More hydrogen is produced, more hydrogen will combine with bicarbonate, will consume bicarbonate. When more hydrogen production consumes more bicarbonate, it will result in more carbonic acid production, which will result in increased carbon dioxide production. So what happens? The partial pressure of carbon dioxide in our body raises. Whenever the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in our body raises, the body tries to compensate this increase in partial pressure of carbon dioxide. That will result in how our body compensate, that will hyperventilate the patient, hyperventilate the person. When person hyperventilates, excessive carbon dioxide is excreted out from the body as a compensatory mechanism in order to decrease the partial pressure of carbon dioxide that was raised because of increased production of carbonic acid. Whenever we discuss the causes of metabolic acidosis, we will have 2 points, that is normal anion gap, which we have studied before, and raised or increased anion gap. So when we talk about normal anion gap, it means that cation is equal to anion ratio, which we have discussed is normal. Okay, it is normal, but what happens? An acid production in the body is increased. How this acid increases? For example, poisoning. When a person tries to suicide, he just engulfs a huge amount of acid. That will result in increased production of hydrogen ion. That will result in increased production of hydrogen ion. Okay, इसके अलावा जो है there is an increased loss of bicarbonate ion. Increase loss of bicarbonate ion. How this takes place? Increased loss of bicarbonate ion. This takes place in the case of vomiting, in the case of excessive diarrhea. This electrolyte of our body has to be removed from our body. So these are the conditions like poisoning, like loss of bicarbonate through GITs with normal anion gap. Another condition which we have discussed before, that is renal tubular acidosis. It is the main cause of normal anion gap. It is the main cause of normal anion gap metabolic acidosis. Now, if we talk about increased anion gap endogenous acidosis, it means what happened? It means that there are resources in our body which are increasing the production of acid. It means that there is no external ingestion of acid, there is no external any cause that leads to the acid production, or there is no any cause that lead to the decreased electrolytes in our body, decreased positive ions in our body. Basically what is happening? Basically disease अपनी बॉडी के अंदर ही है जो क्या करिए, एसिड की प्रोडक्शन को इंक्रीज करिए. अब इसमें हमारे पास कौन कौन सी चीज़ें आ सकती हैं, कौन कौन सी डिजीजेस इन्वॉल्व हो सकती हैं? इनके अंदर हमारे पास डायबिटिक कीटो एसिडोसिस एक कंडीशन है जिससे आप बहुत फैमिलियर हैं, वो हो सकती हैं. इससे होता क्या है कि बेसिकली जब बॉडी के अंदर ग्लूकोज प्रॉपर्ली यूज़ नहीं हो रहा होता, प्रॉपर्ली एनर्जी प्रोवाइड नहीं कर रहा होता, तो जो बॉडी के अंदर मौजूद लिपिड्स होते हैं उनकी होना शुरू हो जाती है ब्रेक डाउन. जब लिपिड्स की ब्रेक डाउन होती है, लिपिड्स प्रोड्यूस करते हैं हमारे पास कीटोन्स. ठीक है, these ketones act as acid in our body. When these ketones act as an acid in our body, they basically raise the pH of our, they basically raise the acid content in our body, that will lead to decreased pH. इसके अलावा जो हमारे पास कंडीशन है, one is diabetic ketoacidosis, the second one is lactic acidosis. In this, acid production in our body is increased as a result of ischemia, as a result of anaerobic respiration. Again, another condition, we have any kind of alcoholic ketoacidosis. Alcoholic ketoacidosis. Other than this is kidney disease. Any kind of renal disease will affect our transport of hydrogen ions. As we have discussed that the main cause behind metabolic acidosis is renal tubular acidosis. Tubules are basically at different points. First we consider as proximal tubules, then we will move on towards distal tubules. What happens in this proximal tubule? In this proximal tubule, there may be a kind of inherited disorder, there may be a kind of acquired disorder which lead towards its destruction. So what happens in inherited disorder? Inherited disorder, the most important inherited disorder we have in this case is Fanconi syndrome. Fanconi syndrome. What happens in this Fanconi syndrome? The reabsorption, basically what happens in this Fanconi syndrome? Reabsorption through proximal tubules is defected, is decreased. So what happens? The substances like glucose, like phosphate ions, like bicarbonate ions, like potassium, like uric acid, like amino acids, they, instead of reabsorbing in proper amount, they are not reabsorbed. So when they are not reabsorbed, hydrogen excess takes place in the renal tubules. When hydrogen excess takes place, they will result in the formation of, as I have told you, ammonium ions, that will result in the formation of phosphoric acid, that will basically just increase the acidity of the blood and at the end result in the acidosis. Other causes we have in this include drugs. Which kind of drugs? Drugs that basically do what? Drugs that, point number 2 is drugs that basically inhibit carbonic anhydrase enzyme, whose work is to do this. This equation becomes H2CO3, then H2O plus CO2. This basically process is whole taking out in the presence of carbonic anhydrase. This hydrogen is production is stopped by this carbonic anhydrase as it converts it into carbon dioxide, and this is excreted out from the body by respiration. So when this carbonic anhydrase is absent, there is hydrogen excess. When there is hydrogen excess, it will lead to metabolic acidosis. We talk about distal tubules. In distal tubules, we have a disorders which also may be inherited, which also may be acquired. When we talk about acquired disorders, acquired may consist of any kind of drugs. In drugs, we have the most important of which I have told you before, that is lithium, that is amphotericin B. That is lithium, that is amphotericin B. And the diseases which include in this are systemic lupus erythematosus, that is SLE, that is any kind of Sjögren's syndrome. They will all lead to the tubular damage that will result in hydrogen accumulation in the body. So now we have another type, that is hyperkalemic distal tubular acidosis, as we have talked about sodium potassium ATPase. It is basically acted upon by aldosterone. To understand this, I will elaborate you in a picture. So here, like ये है sodium potassium ATPase, which is just activated by an hormone which is aldosterone, whose work is to reabsorb, that is to reabsorb sodium, and in response excrete out potassium from the blood. So what happens when this aldosterone is not present, that is there is hypoaldosteronism? What happens? The sodium reabsorption is inhibited. The sodium reabsorption does not take place, and at the end what happens? The excessive quantity of potassium that is present in the blood, that will rise. So when this potassium concentration rises, it will lead to as hyperkalemic distribular acidosis. So when this potassium is increasing, what will happen? This potassium further leads to disturbance of hydrogen potassium exchanger. Hydrogen starts to accumulate in the blood. When hydrogen starts to accumulate in the blood, it will result in what condition? It will result in acidosis. Discussing the clinical features of metabolic acidosis, we have just read out before that when a patient with metabolic acidosis have an increased partial pressure of carbon dioxide, when the partial pressure of carbon dioxide raises in our body, how it is compensated by the body? It is compensated by hyperventilation, that the patient starts to take deep breaths, deep and short breaths. When the patient starts to take short and deep breaths, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide should be compensated in order of the decreasing pH of the blood. So the clinical feature will be hyperventilation, deep rhythmic breathing, which is also known as Kussmaul respiration. With the increasing respiration, there will be decreased cardiac output as the phase between inspiration and expiration is decreased, so blood cannot be filled properly, so decreased cardiac output. And at the end, when the cardiac output is decreased, blood cannot be supplied to the tissues properly. That will result in decreased tissue perfusion. Whenever there is decreased tissue perfusion, that means there is hypoxia. There is chances of being hypoxic. Moving on, as we have divided metabolic acidosis on the basis of anion gap, on normal anion gap and increased anion gap. Whenever we talk about the normal anion gap, basically we have a condition in our mind that a patient has lost its hydrogen ion concentration, has lost its bicarbonate ion concentration via diarrhea. When there is perfused diarrhea, there is excessive loss of bicarbonate from the body. The hydrogen ions remain free in the blood. When hydrogen ions remain free in the blood, that will result in acidosis. Now with increased anion gap means that a patient is suffering from any kind of disorder. That may be diabetes mellitus, that may be kidney failure, that may be starvation. As we have read before, diabetes mellitus will lead to ketoacidosis. That ketoacidosis is due to lipolysis. That will result in increased production of lactic acid. That hydrogen increases. When hydrogen increases, it will lead to acidosis. Starvation has the same process, that there is an increased production of lipid as in order to compensate for the body energy losses. And alcoholism, it will also increase hydrogen ion concentration in the body. Now moving on towards the investigation. What can investigation we perform in our patient in order to diagnose him or her as a case of metabolic alkalosis or acidosis? We are here concerned about metabolic acidosis, so we first have to be aware of the patient's history. As a patient is suffering from any kind of systemic disorder, as we have mentioned before, any kind of diabetes, any kind of kidney failure, so history of the patient is very important. Then move on towards the blood gas investigations, that is we in short refer to it as BG's investigation. When we talk about BG's investigation, we have to check out the pH of the blood. We first have to check out three things: pH of the blood, carbon dioxide level of the blood, and bicarbonate level in the blood. When we consider that, we talk about pH, carbon dioxide, and bicarbonate, we have a relation between them in order to rule out the patient of acid-base balance. So when we consider that we have a decreased pH, that for example it is 7.2, that is decreased than the normal pH of our blood, then we have a look on the bicarbonate concentration and a look on the carbon dioxide concentration. If the carbon dioxide concentration is raised, that is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is raised, that means our body is compensating for this raised partial pressure of carbon dioxide. There is hyperventilation in the patient. Number one parameter is decreased pH. Number two parameter is increased partial pressure of carbon dioxide than normal, will lead our diagnosis towards metabolic acidosis. Here it is clear. So how can we diagnose our patient as a case of metabolic acidosis? That there we have a decrease. We have to look on the pH, that is decreased. We have to look on the partial pressure of carbon dioxide, which was increased. What is the normal pH of our blood? That is 7.35 to 7.45. By considering for the pH of the blood as a reference value, it is 7.35 to 7.45. Referring to the bicarbonate concentration, it is 24. Referring to partial pressure of carbon dioxide, it is 40. So on this basis, we diagnose our patient as metabolic acidosis. Moving on towards the treatment of metabolic acidosis, what we have to do in metabolic acidotic patient. Firstly, we have to identify the cause behind his metabolic acidosis, like any systemic disorder or whatever we have found out from his history. Then treatment varies, depends on the cause, as I've told you. Further, we have to do is to inject sodium bicarbonate in order to maintain the acid concentration in our body. So this remedy is preferable in case of normal and 9-gap metabolic acidosis. As we know that whenever we introduce sodium bicarbonate in the patient, that the bicarbonate जो है हमारे पास उसकी to reach the brain ability बहुत slow होती है, that it will at least take 24 hours to reach to the brain. इस तरह क्या हो सकता है कि ब्रेन के अंदर एसिडिटी जो है ना वो इंक्रीज़ होने की वजह से ब्रेन डैमेज हो सकता है, कोमा हो सकता है. तो क्या होगा कि हम पेशेंट को हाइपर वेंटिलेट करेंगे. हाइपर वेंटिलेट करने से क्या होगा, हम पेशेंट को बेसिकली कंपेंसेट कर रहे हैं फॉर दैट हाइड्रोजन इंक्रीज इन द बॉडी. क्या होगा कि पार्शियल प्रेशर ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड जितना कम होगा उतना जो है क्या होगा बाइकार्बोनेट का लेवल ज़्यादा होगा. हमने बात की कि पार्शियल प्रेशर ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड कम होगा और बाइकार्बोनेट ज़्यादा होगा, हमेशा एक दूसरे के इन्वर्सली चलते होते हैं, मूव ऑन करते हैं. नाउ अब हमने अपने पेशेंट को हाइपर वेंटिलेट कर दिया. इसके बाद हमने देखा कि जो हमारा पेशेंट है वो हाइपर वेंटिलेशन से भी कोई फ़र्क हमें नहीं पड़ रहा. पेशेंट जो है वो लाइक केस ऑफ अपने डायबिटिक कीटोएसिडोसिस और अनकॉन्शियस है, तो हम उसके अंदर मैकेनिकल वेंटिलेशन जो है वो स्टार्ट कर देंगे इन ऑर्डर टू मेंटेन द पेशेंट ब्लड pH. So here our topic of metabolic acidosis is going to be end. Hope so you have understood a lot. Next video I will shoot about how to diagnose the scenarios of metabolic acidosis, inshallah. Okay, Allah Hafiz.